A very good evening to our Principal Puan Sangeeta, our Youth Service Director Rotarian Param, our beloved PK Koko Puan Renuka, our respected teacher advisors Puan Amara and Sheikh Siti Fatima, and all the guest speakers and Rotarians present here today. And to the viewers and participants, hello and welcome. I'm Manisha and I'll be your MC throughout this event today. So firstly, I would like to thank everyone for attending this webinar hosted by the Interact Club of MGS Klang. We've got people from over 20 different schools here today. Thank you so much. So before we begin, I would like to remind everyone that the e-certificates will only be given to people who participate in the quiz after the second slot. And also do make sure that the information you fill up in the Google form, your name and your email address, is accurate information and is also your full name, as the exact same information will be used in your e-certificate. Also, after you filled out the Google form, we will make sure to email you your e-certificate by Monday. And if you haven't received your e-cert by Monday, please do drop us a DM on Instagram. Our account is ICMGSKLG. So without wasting any more time, I'd like to invite Puan Sangeeta, the Principal of SMKP Methodist Klang, to give us her opening speech.
Thank you, Manisha. A very good evening to the panel of speakers for today's webinar, led by past Assistant Governor, Rotarian Mr. S.K. Subra, teachers, interactors of the various Interact clubs in Selangor. Thank you very much for being online. And as what Manisha said, there are about 22 schools who are with us today. Thank you for joining MGS. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate Puan Renuka, Puan Amara, and the Interact Club of SMK Perempuan Methodist Klang, or well known as MGS, for having this webinar tonight. Okay, thank you very much for all the preparations that you have done, and thank you. Yeah, and tonight's webinar with the title Mending Mindsets. With the current pandemic, I think it's very important for us to mend our mindsets. When we talk about mending mindsets, it's like as if we are sending you to a workshop. You know, like when we send the car to the workshop, okay, for repairs or for overhaul, for servicing. So now we are actually servicing your minds. Yeah, and I believe amongst the topics that will be covered by the speakers today would include it's okay not to be okay, a better you, and breaking the silence. These are heavy topics, but I'm sure it will benefit each and every student, each and every interactor tonight. Yeah. Okay. We have lots of activities that you have been participating, which has been done online. Yeah, which is according to the new norms practiced worldwide. So by actually empowering our youth to organize and shoulder responsibilities, like what MGS Interact Club has done tonight. Actually, I'm very proud of them. Yeah, this session would hence give our interactors the privilege of benefiting with holistic education, in line with the Ministry of Education's desire to create a holistic individual. Ladies and gentlemen, a main goal of educators is to impart students with skills. Okay, they need to be critical thinkers. Yeah, so to be critical thinkers, we need to mend your minds. Yeah, instead of simply memorizing facts and ideas, children need to engage in higher levels of thinking to reach their fullest potential. Yeah, learning through activities from a strong basis in inculcating values and awareness. Please remember, values are very important. Yeah, and also awareness of what is learned from today's session will indeed prove that the speakers are actually taking you to a journey, yeah, where after this you will be able to face all the challenges in the country, challenges faced by the students. The Interact Club of MGS has thus done a wonderful job in ensuring students in Selangor. I'm not sure whether we have any from different states, whether we have any from Ipoh or from Perak or Malacca, I'm not sure, yeah, to participate in the webinar session. And please do take part in the quiz, which will ensure all participants to gain co-curricular marks. We need marks. You need your co-curricular marks for your PAJSK. So please participate. Lastly, on behalf of SMK Perempuan Methodist Klang, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate once more and to thank all those who have been involved in today's webinar. Yeah, from the organizing committee, the teachers who have guided their students, and the speakers. Yeah, speakers, thank you very much, who have willingly come forth to speak up on issues related to the current situation that we are facing. Keep up all the good work and have a wonderful, fruitful evening. God bless you. Please take care, and thank you for attending today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Puan Sangeeta. So next, I would like to introduce all our speakers today. So firstly, we have Mr. Jonathan Jeremiah, who's the president of the Rotaract Club of Tailors. And we also have Mr. Ruben Raj and Ms. Sandri Vijayakumar, who are members of the Rotaract Club of Klang Central. And next, we have Past Assistant Governor SK Subra, who has been in Rotary for 23 years. And finally, we have our moderator, Sharumadi Jagannathan, who is also an ex-MGS interactor. So now I would like to pass this on to Sharumadi. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Manisha. I am Sharu. I will be your moderator for the day. And as she mentioned, I was an ex-interactor for MGS Klang. Okay, so to start with the name of the event itself, Mending Mindsets, I believe that mental health is a vital part of our lifestyle, regardless of age. Growing up, we certainly were not educated enough on the importance of mental stability, especially as young adults. I myself did not take mental health seriously until not too long ago. Not to forget, the COVID-19 pandemic certainly has brought more awareness towards the significance of mental health. This series of speaker sessions today will be aimed to mend our mindsets on promoting a healthier well-being. With that, I will begin the first session of our event today in the title, It's Okay Not to Be Okay, by our speaker, Jonathan.
Hi everyone, can you all hear me? Am I audible? Do type in the chat if you guys can actually hear me and see me clearly. Anybody? Yep. Okay, I think, yeah, you can. So, hi everyone, how is everyone doing today? I would really like this session to be an interactive session, even though it's online. I can see your chats, so please do chat if you have anything to say. If you'd like to talk to me, I just want it to be two ways, all right? So I hope everyone is doing fine today. I would like to do a very quick mood check with everybody here today. How is everyone today? Could you type in how you're feeling today? All good? Is everybody okay? Okay, panicky. I see somebody is panicky. What about the rest of everybody here? Okay. Yeah, it is a live. Yeah, it is actually live. Okay, I see people are feeling good. That's great to hear. People are feeling good today. Yeah. Okay, it's great to hear. I see a lot of people. Okay, firstly, I would like to thank the Interact Club of MGS Klang for actually reaching out to me to be here and providing this platform for me tonight. So before we get started tonight, just know that the chat box is free for you guys to use. Just chat away as much as you can. I will actively look at the chat so that I can know what's going on and if you guys have any questions or anything, all right? So could I have the next slide, please? Yeah, so here is the slide. I need your help. As you guys can see, make use of the live chat, ask questions. And last but not least, I would like you guys to smile a little bit. Although I cannot see you guys right now, I hope you guys can just smile just a little bit, you know, so that we can get that whole vibe going on before we start this whole night. All right. So could I have the next slide? Yep. Right. So this is me. I am 21 this year. My name is Jonathan. I am currently in Taylor's University. It's a great university with a really diverse set of people. I'm also a Rotaractor, as Manisha mentioned. I'm from the Rotaract Club of Taylor's Lakeside campus. Close to over 2 years ago, a group of myself and 3 friends, we started this Rotaract Club. And this is actually my 3rd term serving here. And I'm currently the president and it has been such a great experience. So if you're an interactor or not, wherever you guys are, do consider joining the Rotaract Club if you guys are set on that. As you can see the pictures here, we have tons of fun. We have lots of activities like hiking, kayaking, international visits, and so on. Other than that, I'm also a really sporty person. As you can see the picture of me over there. I really like it. Hiking, swimming, diving, you can name it. Yeah. So before I get started, would you guys want to know anything about me before we go on? Okay, I see some fans from the Rotary Club. Okay, that's great to hear. Okay, I will just proceed with the next slide. Okay, so this is my question for you all today. Is it really okay not to be okay? Yeah. So you guys can actually answer if you think it is or not. I'll proceed for the meantime. So here's the thing. When I was actually in school, my answer would have been no, it's not okay. We need to like hide these feelings and so on. Because people actually expected myself and probably you guys face the same thing to be strong. When you guys get those tough grades, you can't cry, you can't feel different, be sad, be angry. So being school students, it may be really difficult because you may not have a place to go, you may not know what you're dealing with, or even you think it's wrong to be okay with all these things. So this is actually called toxic positivity. And today I'm actually going to be talking about three things today. So I'm going to help you identify if you are okay or not. Okay, it's kind of hard doing it from across the screen, but today I'm actually going to try to make that possible. Again, I'm not a trained professional, but there are multiple ways of checking to see if you're okay or not. All right. So this will be done with your help, of course. Next, I'll also be covering a little bit about toxic positivity and what it really is. Finally, I'll also be sharing a little bit on how you can make a difference in your mental health. Right? So as you can see the slide over here, it really is okay not to be okay. Okay, it's a little tongue twister if you get confused. It's okay, but yeah, I need everyone to know this. It really is okay not to be okay. If people tell you to be strong, sure, it probably means that they want to be there, they want to support you, but it isn't really the right thing to do. Sometimes asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. On the contrary, I see it as a sign of strength, and you actually can ask help because you have to know you're not alone, right? So today I'm here for you guys. Just know that you have a friend. He's in Taylor's. He's Jonathan. Okay. So if you need help, you can call me, but I won't give my headphone number. Okay. All right. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay. So, what are we possibly dealing with over here? So, the following, as you can see, are a list of the most common mental health illnesses and their symptoms. Life can be pretty scary, guys. Can you agree on that one? It's quite scary. You see this whole list and you're like, oh my God, do I have these things? Am I really sick? So sometimes it can be confusing. It can be a little upsetting when you're experiencing all these emotional, cognitive, physical changes. Sometimes even mental health comes in the form of physical changes, not only mentally. Sometimes it's eating disorders and so on, right? So you might ask yourself, am I sick? Do I need to go to the hospital? Do I need like surgery or something like that? And do I have a mental illness? Is this something I need to operate my brain for? No. Okay, that's all. No, no, no. You guys really can try really different ways. So oftentimes the generations before us, they were not so familiarized with mental health. But coming into like this whole 21st century, people began to be aware about mental health and it was less disregarded over time. So it's not played down anymore. So sometimes you might meet people, like one or two people, and they say, um, it's all in your head. Just don't worry about it. It'll go away. Or they can say to you, maybe today just isn't your day. That's why you're feeling a little bit off, you know. Or they can say, I don't think I can actually help you because it's all in your head. It's your mental problems, you know. So I'm actually here to help you, as I said. Could I have the next slide? Yeah. So over here is a QR code that you guys can actually scan if you guys are able to. If you guys are not, I think I'm able to drop the link in the chat. Okay, so the link is also in the YouTube live chat if you guys want to take it, right? So here is something you can try yourself. It is actually the website by the National Association for Mental Health in America. If you want to ask me why America, I think they're pretty good in their mental health facilities and help and so on. So you guys can actually go to this website and get a diagnosis about your mental health through this computer-generated program, all right? So while getting a diagnosis from a professional is something essential for you guys when knowing about your mental health, you guys can actually take more opportunities by yourself to actually find out what you're dealing with yourself before going to a professional. So this is something very important because being myself or being a student yourself, you might be scared to go to the doctor or you might be scared to face whatever you have to face. All right. So the first step towards improving your mental health is actually to find out what we're dealing with here. So as I said before, I'm no doctor, but this is the first step you can actually take. So could I have the next slide, please? Yeah. So on this website, you'll actually see a variety of tests you can take. Of course, it's not 100% accurate, but it actually prompts you with questions that you can look at from different perspectives. For example, I actually did a test. I did the depression test just for fun a few months ago. It was just because a friend asked me to do it. And I was pretty shocked with the results when it came out and it said that, oh, you have mild depression. And a lot of my friends also wouldn't have thought the same thing because I also don't think that I have mild depression. But sometimes we have to try to accept that there may be something a little bit wrong and something that you need a little bit of fixing. All right. So you don't have to be alarmed. I'm totally okay. There is nothing to be concerned about. But let me tell you, keeping your mental health in check is something very important, especially during this pandemic. So what I did in my time was I took out time to learn how to relax. I took out time to talk to more people, even invested in learning new things, new hobbies, and so much more. All right. So it really is simple and everyone can try it out. You guys can try it out right now or you want to try it out later. It's a very short quiz actually. But yes, this is one of the ways that you can actually try to see what's wrong with you. All right. So what is the actual next step? The next step actually is that you find out that, oh, okay, I have mild depressions based on this website. So what actually causes mild depression? So what I did was that I Googled mild depression symptoms and stuff like that, and what I can do to actually solve these issues of myself. They said to take time for yourself, relax with friends, invest time in new activities, and that was what I did. Right. So just a disclaimer: a self-diagnosis is actually quite dangerous because you're not a doctor. Let's face the facts. Okay. You may also end up with the wrong diagnosis. So only use this as a guideline for yourself. And if you want a more sure answer, you can always seek a trained professional. All right. So what if I don't want to do the test? What if I feel like, okay, this test is not legit? You can't say like I have mild depression based on the test, right? So what I can do is actually seek a doctor. But what if I don't want to seek a doctor, right? It's quite difficult to deal with a problem if you don't want to look for a solution, right? So my advice would actually be to always talk to your friends about your own issues, all right? So why I say friends and not your family is mainly because sometimes your friends are more familiar with what's going on with you, right? So, for example, you may have a friend the same age as you. They kind of understand what's going on in your age group, all right? Whereas maybe your parents, they may be a totally different age group. They may not understand. But if your parents are really down to it people and they're able to actually talk things out with you, please do go ahead with them and talk to them because they are by far the smartest people out there and the most trustable people you can actually find. and they can actually guide you to help whatever you're facing. All right. Okay. So before I go on to the next part, could I just check how are y'all feeling? Have y'all done the test yet, or have y'all identified any issues that you're facing? Um, yeah, you guys don't have to be ashamed about like saying your mental health issues. It's totally fine. Could I see some responses in the chat box? Okay, I think everybody's pretty quiet on the chat box. It's okay. But yeah, you guys can try to put in your answers later on. Oh, okay, I see some answers. Okay, Emma has already tried. Yes, that's good. Alia has not yet tried. It says I have moderate depression. Okay, I'm not sure how to say that name. NYI. Okay. So those who actually did the test, good job. You guys did a very speedy test. So there are multiple tests that you can actually try from. So there is the PTSD test, psychosis, addiction, anxiety, eating disorder. There's the bipolar test, and then there are some in Spanish over there. You guys don't have to look at that. All right, that's a little bit out of the books for now. But yeah, thank you so much for everybody who actually did the test. It's great to know that you guys are taking the initiative to actually find out more about yourselves. All right. So we'll move on to the next part of today. All right. Sorry, next slide after this. Okay, so toxic positivity. As you can see, there's a long list, but it's clearly very empty. And there's only one name on that list of enemies right there. All right. Now, for those of you who don't know what toxic positivity is, let me explain it to you a little bit. All right. So, toxic positivity is usually when we assume that a person is not in a positive mood and they somehow are wrong. All right. So, toxic positivity is having to feel good all the time, having to be happy all the time, and associating being sad or angry with negative emotions and stuff like that, right? So what happens when we do this is we actually invalidate someone's feelings, and we end up creating these secondary emotions, which are shame, guilt, embarrassment, and people just get closed up. They don't want to share anymore. They just feel like, okay, you know what? I just have to put on this face. I'm happy on the inside, but I'm dying on the inside. I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm like, that is not the right way to go about things, because everybody should be able to express themselves. And you guys play a part in helping somebody actually express themselves. All right. So, in so many words, we're actually saying to them that they should actually feel ashamed of being sad or that they should feel embarrassed for being afraid. So, by doing this, again, we isolate someone in their time of need. Somebody who really needs your help when they're sad and they're crying, they need a shoulder to cry on. But you go on ahead and you say something like, "Oh man, don't cry. It's just a small issue. You shouldn't cry for things like this." So that is the public enemy number one, which is toxic positivity. All right. So again, by doing this, we actually equate people by being weak. So we say like, if you cry, you're weak. If you're angry with somebody, you're not able to control your emotions and you're just crazy. Things like that is wrong. But obviously, don't get angry at people for no reason. That's way worse. Okay. So I'm sharing this with you because in my years, I did not actually know what toxic positivity was. And back in high school, much like you guys, I had to put on a happy face all the time because things weren't going my way, but I couldn't do anything about it, you know? So I learned what it is, and it's actually a really dangerous thing, and that's why it's number one on my list. Sure, there are tons of other contributing factors for mental health issues, but this toxic positivity is something that is hidden all the time because it's super hard to sense. All right. So you can see the next slide where I show some examples of toxic positivity. Right. So as you can see over there, toxic positivity, positive vibes only. Um, it could be worse. Just smile, stop worrying. What's there to cry about? It'll be fine. You have so much going for you. How can you be upset? Get over it. You see, things like this are toxic positivity. To you, you may feel that, okay, I'm just reassuring the person, like, it could be way worse than usual, just to smile and stop worrying. But to that person, you're actually telling them to always feel positive and never feel sad or angry or so on, you know? So instead of saying positive vibes only, you could always prompt somebody and say, it's okay to feel bad sometimes. Don't worry about it. I'm here for you. That's one way, right? And the other thing is, it could be worse, right? You could say something like, it's hard, but I believe in you. You got this. It's reassurance while telling them that it's okay to actually feel sad or happy or angry or whatever they're feeling, right? Some other things are like, things can be really tough and I'm here for you. You see, there's some reassurance there, right? And then there is also one more, which is, oh, you're a failure. Failure is not an option. That is also wrong, because you can say something like, failure is a part of growth. You got this, okay? You see, that is something that you guys can actually try, right? So do you guys have any questions so far about toxic positivity at all? Any questions? Okay, I see some questions in chat. I'm not sure. Okay, it's okay. I'll read the questions if they do come along, right? So, no emotion is actually permanent. Anger, sadness, just like happiness and joy, come and go, right? We need to let ourselves really experience these painful feelings because we want them to pass through us and we want to actually learn from us, okay? So with that, don't hide your discomforts or you'll actually end up like this guy over here. Could I have the next slide, please? Yeah, next slide. Yeah. So you see this guy over here, he's actually hiding his emotions, right? And what you do when you hide your emotions is you're actually adding fuel to the fire and you get really, really hurt, okay? Though the video is kind of like, gory and stuff like that, got exploded and stuff like that. What this actually means is that when you do mask your emotions, when you hide stuff like that, you are pouring more and more fuel into the flame and hurting yourself even more. Hurting yourselves meaning not physically, but mentally, right? So your mental health is at risk over here, right? So when we pretend that emotional pain doesn't exist, we send a message to our brain, and whatever emotion is that, okay, this is bad and dangerous, I can't feel this, okay? And our brain actually believes that we are in danger situation and our brain will actually respond, right? So with that, we'll actually experience stuff like shallow breathing, increased heartbeat, and all these responses. And this is where we get those discomforts. This is where we get those panic attacks, those PTSDs, those anxiety, depression, because we're hiding everything on the inside and we kind of freak out, right? So this is what happens. So you don't want to end up like that guy over there. He gets really, really hurt, and that's wrong. That's very bad for you. All right. Okay. Yes, that's right. I better not be like him. That's true. Don't be like that guy. Okay. Could I have the next slide, please? Okay. So there are way better ways for you guys to address your emotions than just hiding them. Okay. Hiding is the simple option. Okay. You can hide from your problems, but you'll just get worse and you won't find a solution. So these are some ways that you can actually address your emotions. The first way is actually an acronym, which is stigma. All right. So it's called practice stigma, which I will explain more on later. And do pay attention to this part. I'm not sure about this coming out in the quiz later, but you might want to pay attention. All right. Okay. And then there is also practice gratitude. So how do you practice gratitude? It's via journaling. So every day you guys can actually write something and acknowledge how you feel. Okay. So let's go to practicing stigma, right? Let's look at the next slide. Okay, so practicing stigma. As you can see, stigma stands for smile, talk, imagine, get help, movement, and acceptance. These are the 6 things that everybody should practice, be it if you have mental health issues or if you have no mental health issues. All right? Okay, so smile. For those of you who are actually fighting the battle right now of mental health, find something or find someone or anything that you guys can have to make you smile. Let's say you have a dog or a cat or maybe a best friend that makes you smile. Go talk to them. Go play with your pet dog or cat or something like that. And for those of you who are totally fine, who have no issue at all, you guys can actually smile at the people, or more importantly, be very kind, because you never know what somebody's actually going through. All right. And the next part is talk. So if you're going through something, there are always people who understand and will be happy to help. You just have to reach out to somebody. If you reach out to somebody, and very oftentimes this happens, we actually get denied. People be like, no, I'm so sorry. I need to study for my SPM today. I cannot help you. There's always a million other more people who can actually help you out. All right. So just go and talk to those people. Next up, we have imagine. So what you can do if you are in that state is imagine how great life is going to be when you beat this mental health, when you're not in anxiety or depression anymore. You can imagine the future, and that gives you the motivation to push forward and actually want to get better and find a solution, right? Yes, talk to someone you trust and don't bottle them inside your chest. Thank you so much from the chat. All right. Right. So next is getting help. So getting help is something very important, because that is where everything starts. Asking somebody for help. I need help because I'm facing some issues. People will help. Don't worry about it. We're all human, and someone out there will have a heart for you. All right. Next up is movement. Literally, this is something I've learned in the pandemic, which is movement, and I find very true. Because if you don't keep yourself moving, you're stuck in one place and you're prone to overthinking. You're prone to just, oh man, I'm stuck at home. I can't do anything here. I'm useless and stuff like that. But if you move around, you move about, and you get moving, exercising, your mental health actually gets a lot better. And being at home for 500 days, that's what the news has announced, right? We've been at home for so long. Exercising daily, or even 3 times a week, or even once a week, really, really helps you out a lot. All right. So it can be as simple as doing a 5-minute exercise or doing a 5-minute stretch in the morning. It really, really does help. All right. And you can also do this throughout your day. For example, if you want to do stretching, which is 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, it happens. All right. Okay, let's see. There's a question here. It isn't really that easy. Sometimes when you reach out, people tend to turn a blind eye. You try to share, they turn a deaf ear. Not gonna lie, pretty hard to find someone that's actually willing to listen. Right. So this is also a problem with people. They don't want to help you out. That is why, if you practice stigma, you would be willing to actually help everyone out, right? You would be willing to smile to somebody, talk to somebody, and help them out. So we all have a part to play in our community. So be that person who would be willing to help out somebody, be kind and be there for them. All right? Yeah. And the last part is acceptance. So there are many people in this world that would not socialize with someone with a serious mental health issues. They'll be like, oh, okay, I don't want to associate myself with someone who has depression, because later I will be depressed. That is no, that's just no. That's not how you're supposed to think. All right. Because you should be accepting to all. Because imagine if one day you actually have a mental health issue, then you would need help from someone. Am I right? So if you want to get help from someone, just make sure that you're able to help somebody else. All right. All right. So move on to the next slide, which is gratitude journaling. All right. So I'm actually going to share with you my journals later. But here you go. Gratitude journaling is where you actually take care of your mind by expressing yourselves through books. All right. So I'll be showing some of my books later that I actually journal in. And what you do is you actually set a frequency, first of all. Do you want to journal daily? Do you want to journal weekly, monthly, or just randomly whenever you want? Okay. This is something that you guys can actually choose from. Okay. The next part is know what to write about. So these are the 4 things that I actually practice, which is people, pleasures, promises, and knowledge of the day. So people is who has actually made your day good. Um, Pleasures are what has made your day happy and great, and what made you feel really good about yourself. Promises are what you promise to improve on, what you promise to be tomorrow, what you promise not to repeat. These are guidelines that you guys can follow. And last but not least, we have knowledge of the day. What have I learned for today? Right? And the last but not least is have fun, get creative, draw or use the colors whatever you want, and make the book your own. I can actually show you guys later what I've been doing. So next up, could I have the next slide? Yeah, okay. So it's time for a little sharing session on what I actually do. I'll make this really quick. So I'm going to talk about my journaling and how I manage my time during the pandemic, because I think the second one is very important for you as students and actually contributes to your mental health as well. All right. So could I have the next slide? Okay. So I actually have these two books over here, which are my journal, and also another book which is my planner. All right, so I will have myself full screen now to actually show you my journal. So as you can see, it's not very kiddie. I'm 21 years old, but I like to draw. It's somewhere where I can actually express myself. So what I do in my personal time is I actually like to draw, because it's what I express about myself. So today I actually saw the sun, and it was really beautiful, and I felt like, wow, the world is really beautiful and stuff like that. And I felt like, okay, this is something I should look forward to every day. And I actually wrote down a quote which I looked up to. And I drew all this and made the book like my own. So whenever I'm feeling down, I would take this book and I would open it and be like, okay, I saw this yesterday. And this is something which I look forward to every day. All right. Another thing is, okay, let me just flip it over. Okay, another thing is sometimes I get gifts from friends and they attach little notes. So what I do is I stick little notes and it's in the book. So when I'm feeling down, I just look at it and I read it, and I'd be like, okay, I have friends who actually care about me. So this is my journal, right? Next up, journal entries. Okay, what I mentioned earlier about people, pleasures, promises, and knowledge of the day. So I write down what I like to learn for the day. So here is my journal entry. I'm not going to read it out because it's like my personal journal, but I'm showing you guys. So this is what I loved about that day and what went wrong about that day. So as you can see, I actually wrote down what went wrong about that day so that I'm expressing myself, because sometimes being cooped up at home, you don't have friends to actually talk to. So this is my personal journal, and I like the leather journals because it's really nice on the feel. It's solid. So I recommend you guys to actually get your own journals if you guys want. Right. The next one is this book. Okay, it's actually a book given by Taylor's. Actually, I really like it because it's like a very marble thing. And this is something I used to plan out my time during the pandemic. So these are like my assignments, and I write down everything over here, just to keep myself in check. Okay, I do use Google Calendar a lot, but to have a physical book is much better because I get to put my phone away, and I also get to rid myself of any distractions. All right. So this book is what keeps me in check, and I have a bookmark over here, and then I open this book every day, and I'll be like, okay, I have these things to do. So if you guys are like studying for your exams, you can write down, okay, plan your day for tomorrow, plan your day for the whole week. It is something that you guys can do. So I actually have tons of other books, but these are the two books that I actually use right now. Okay, so I have some questions, but doesn't it remind you of the bad times when you write it down? Okay, so to address that question, actually, it's good to actually reminisce about the bad times, because you can actually accept that, okay, I felt sad on this day because of this, and I should learn um, that feeling sad or bad isn't wrong. All right? Okay, I hope that answers your question, because we have to address our emotions, and that is the key to actually addressing our mental health, right? And yeah, I will have these slides back on. Yeah, and to the next slide. Yeah, so just a reminder, self-care is something we enjoy doing and not something we should feel forced to do. So just remember, these things are not something you should feel forced to do, because it is, just because I said it, I say, hey, Jonathan said that I have to write every day, I have to write every week, something I have to draw, I have to make my book my own. No, that isn't why you do self-care and journaling. It's what I do to actually make myself feel better. So you can actually find other things to make yourself feel better, be it writing in a journal, be it finding a new hobby. That is totally up to you. All right. So I'll have the next slide. Okay. So remember, finally, this is our conclusion for the day. It is okay not to be okay. Thank you so much for listening. Can I have the next slide also? I am Jonathan Jeremiah. I am a rotaractor from the Rotaract Club of Taylor's Lakeside Campus. If you guys have any questions for me, or if you guys have any suggestions, you guys can always drop me a DM here on my Instagram. All right. We'll have the next slide. Yep. So it's the question and answer session, and we have Sharu back with us. So hi, Sharu.
All right. Hi, Jonathan. Thank you. It was really interesting to see your way of coping. I myself began journaling this year, so to keep my emotions intact. So that's great. So you also mentioned about toxic positivity. I think we tend to do that a lot, not only on ourselves, but also the people around us. For example, when they come to us and speak about something, the common phrase saying everything happens for a reason and you'll all be fine. We all say it. I'm guilty of saying this to myself and the people around me without even processing our feelings. So I think it's easier to avoid ourselves from feeling emotions and going through the entire process of healings. So what do you think about the possible risk that toxic positivity can lead to our mental health?
All right. So toxic positivity, to me, as I said, it's super dangerous because we are so unaware. As you said, even yourself, you're unaware of what toxic positivity is. So what it actually does to us is actually isolates our emotions of sadness, anger, feeling sad or shameful about something. It just rids us of these emotions and teaches us that these things are wrong and you have to be happy all the time. When I post up an Insta story or when I post up a post, it has to be a happy post. So that is what toxic positivity is. It gives you this illusion that life is all about being happy. And that is something that we should try to relearn. Um, and it isn't something that is good for us, right?
All right. So coming back to your topic of your session, it's okay not to be okay. Many of us invalidate our emotions because we compare ourselves with the people around us. We look at them handling a certain situation and expect our body to react and handle it in the same way, which definitely puts a lot of pressure on our mind and body. So what would you say to young adults about the habit of comparing themselves with their peers?
Okay. I think this is something very evident in high schools because you guys have exams and stuff like that, and you compare results all the time. You're like, oh my God, this person got an A and I got a B. What am I supposed to feel about myself? You know, um, these things, also, other than that, people may be doing better than you in life, people being happier than you in life is very hard to manage because jealousy, envy, these emotions exist, and it's okay to feel that way. But we also have to be a little bit happy for those people out there. So, for example, if my friend is doing way better than me in life, I have to be happy for that person because one, it benefits my mental health being happy for somebody else, and it doesn't put me in strain and think like, oh my God, this person is so annoying. Why is she so better than me? Why is he so better than me? Right? So that is one thing. The other thing is that we have to learn that we are different from everybody else. Um, and people change over time. People sometimes won't be always as good as they are. People have uprisings, people have downfalls, and these things happen. Yeah.
Thank you, Jonathan. I definitely agree with what you say. All of us have a different growth rate and we all react to things in a different way. So I think it's unfair to ourselves and our mind and our body to be comparing ourselves and the way we react to another person because we all have different growth rates. So, anyway, thank you once again, Jonathan, for this insightful session. Moving on to the next topic of our session, A Better You by our speakers, Sandri and Ruben.
Yeah, thank you, Soundry. Thank you, Sharu. And good evening to the principal of MGS Klang, Pon Sangita, teachers Pon Amara and Pon Renuka, speakers, and to all the intellectuals that are present today. And thank you to the Intellect Club of MGS Klang for inviting us as speakers for this event. So today, for this part, we'll be talking about the chronicles to a better you. But then, before going into the topic, let us formally introduce ourselves. My name is Ruben Rajmurugan, and I'm 21 this year, currently doing degree in computer science, specializing in data analytics in APU, and the current president of Rotaract Club of Klang Center.
Hello and good evening. My name is Soundry. I am 21 years old. I'm currently doing my degree in communication in University Science Malaysia. I am an ex-MGS student. It's so good to be back. Back to you, Ruben.
Okay, when you think about a better you, there's so many things you can discuss and talk. But then we chose these three chapters, which are physical, mental, and emotions. I know you guys don't want to spend your Saturday night listening to all this, so don't worry. We'll try to keep this short and simple. Okay. So let's begin with our first chapter, physical. I think the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about physical is beauty. What is beauty to you people? Feel free to put your answers in the comments and chat, guys, so that I can read it out. And you guys can see there's different pictures in the slides: flowers, sea view, sunsets, and Ronaldo's bicycle kick. All these pictures here shows that there's different type of beauty. Some people may even think bearded guys or short-haired girls are beautiful. Some may even think that the way Ronaldo plays football is beautiful. But beauty is perceptive, as what they usually say. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Okay, but then this is where it gets interesting. When we examine beauty a little closer, this argument pops up every single time. Which one is important? Outer beauty or inner beauty? Outer beauty simply means desirable physical features such as eyes, weight, hair, and all the stuff. Anything that can be touched or measured. But then inner beauty refers to your personality of a person, including his or her mind and character.
And how are they similar to each other? Honestly, both exterior and interior beauty are equally important. For instance, you are going for an interview, and your appearance is the first thing that gives your first impression to your interviewer. And in today's situation, I think it's just the top half of your appearance that you can see when you have an interview. And once the interview starts is when the person gets to know you better and sees the inner beauty. And I see in the comments so many people say inner beauty is important, but first appearance is your outer beauty. So both of it are equally important. You would not want to ruin your first impression, wouldn't you? Right? So, in other words, outer beauty and inner beauty are equally important in all our lives here today. But, however, there are hurdles that we have to get over in order to be confident. So these are some phrases you might have heard or seen on social media. And your auntie might come and tell you, or if you lose weight, you have the potential to look good. Or you might look yourself in the mirror and think, I wish I had straighter hair, or I wish I had curlier hair. But what's important is you accepting yourself as I am beautiful, right? So how do we practice this? Let's have a look. So, body positivity is actually very important in giving yourself that confidence to put yourself out there. And you should see yourself as beautiful as whole, and give yourself a big hug. Let yourself know that your body is unique. My body is unique. My body, allows me to get through the day, right? Without your body, you will not be able to get up and get through your day every day. So it is important to practice body positivity. And this brings us to the end of chapter 1. So I hope you have enjoyed this chapter. Moving on, we have chapter 2, which will be talking on mental. So before we dive in, I'd like to kindly request all of you to answer these questions. How are you feeling today? Physically and mentally. What is it that what will you engage in today that will bring you joy? Yeah, I'm pretty sure the answer is going to be this program that is held by Interact of MGS Klang, right? And what is it that is taking most of your head space? Most importantly, are you tired? Can we have the answers? Are you tired? It's 8:51 p.m. on a Saturday. You may have a long week. These are the questions you should ask yourself every day. And these questions will make you realize a lot of things that will help you get through the day. Okay, so what is mental health? There are so many meanings to mental health. There are scientific meaning to it. It is a very huge topic, but basically mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act. And a healthy mind will allow us to maintain productive daily activities and have a fulfilling relationship with others despite being challenged with our stress. In our day-to-day life, we are all busy online, we have meetings and we have got class. So these are the stresses that comes in our daily life. But having a healthy mindset will allow you to still be productive. But I see some of your, yes, you're very tired, and some of y'all feel good today. That's good. I heard from Jonathan's question as well. That's great. Okay, let's move on. However, many people misunderstands mental health, and here are some misconceptions that people think people with mental illnesses are crazy and that you cannot get better, and people with mental illnesses cannot function in society, or it can never be treated. If you have heard anything else of these misconceptions, do drop them in the live chat. Yeah, I will be passing it back to Ruben.
Okay. Since we've been talking a lot about mental health, it's kind of getting a little bit boring, right? So don't worry, guys. So we prepared an activity for this session. I think most of you guys are familiar with the put your finger down challenge. So this is how it's going to be. So I'll be asking some questions. So you guys have to put your finger down if these questions or these issues affect your headspace. Are you guys ready? Okay, the first question. Put your finger down if you find yourself struggling to cope up with online classes. Put your finger down if you find yourself being more tired with online classes. Put your finger down if you find yourself being lonely because you are unable to attend classes with your friends. Put your finger down if you find yourself worrying about the future, further studies, and all this stuff. Put your finger down if being uncertain about the future make you feel anxious. Put your finger down if you find that thinking about the future has affected your overall mood. The last 4 questions, and put your finger down if you had a moment while scrolling through your social media and you asked yourself, why can't I be like that? You're scrolling down, then you see Ronaldo's picture, why I can't play like him, all this stuff. And put your finger down if you feel pressured to update your social media profiles with cool and new content. Put your finger down if you feel that social media represents the real you. And the last question, put your finger down if you think that social media has affected your self-confidence? How many fingers did you guys put down? Mine, I think I put down 3 fingers. So let us know in the chat and comment, guys, so that I can read out and know. Okay, 9, 8. Oh my God, that's a lot. So this activity is basically to identify the problems that are really affecting your mental state and headspace. So once you guys have identified the problems, it's easier for you to look for solutions as you can deal with the problems one step at a time. If the next time you guys are feeling down or something, pick anything from your cheat sheet and do it. What is cheat sheet? Cheat sheet is something where you include the things you like doing or the things that makes you happy. I personally like to go for night drives and writing poems. It really helps me clear my thoughts and to think of ways to approach issues and problems. Maybe you guys have your own particular ways. Try doing that whenever you guys are feeling down. And that's the end of chapter 2. And moving on to chapter 3, emotions. Before we talk about emotions, there's this short video where I would like to present to you guys. We'll talk more in detail about emotions after this video. Sound good? Okay, did you guys enjoy the video? What you guys learned and understood from the video? Feel free to put that in the chat. I saw someone said Fast and Furious 7, the ending scene was the saddest part ever. Yeah, I agree, bro. Okay, from this video, you can see that a person can't just be happy for the rest of his life. There are moments where a person should feel sadness, joy, fear, and all the other emotions. Basically, what they're trying to say here is that every emotions are important. And the truth on emotions, okay, your emotions do not define who you are. Emotions are based on situations and circumstances. What you feel at that time is what you show. When you feel angry at some point, it doesn't mean you're a rude or angry person. When you feel sad at some point, it doesn't mean you're a depressed person. Same goes for all the other emotions. And the second one, labeling and expressing emotion is an important step in healing. Many people have failed to express their emotions well, but then by describing the emotions well, you get to identify what and how you feel. This indirectly regulates your emotion and your state of mind. Accepting emotions are signals that we are ready to become a better version of ourselves. Because once you start accepting and hold accountability towards your emotion, you open up yourself to change, to tend to accept your flaws and find a solution to it. Feeling feelings is a strength. When we feel it for ourselves, it reveals our capacity to feel for others. Okay, I know this sentence is quite tricky, but then let me explain. Feeling something for your own self makes you relate with other people and their emotions. As long as you feel something for your own self, you can understand how the other person is feeling and how to react to it. Back to you, Sandra.
Thank you, Ruben. So I think as soon as you see this slide, I'm pretty sure you already have an idea on, which emotions are positive and negative. So just now the movie Inside Out, I'm sure all of you can relate to it. And I can see in the comments where people say family is very important, and that scene made you cry and made you sad. And society claims that there are positive and negative emotions. So can we have some of y'all list out the positive and negative emotions that you know which emotions are positive and which emotions are negative? So while you do that, I would like to. So basically, positive emotions are joy and excitement and happiness, and negative emotions are sad, or fear, or guilt. And but at the end of the day, let us all stop putting labels on emotions, because emotions are something very natural, and we should look at emotions as just emotions, right? There shouldn't be negative or positive emotions. So when we talk about emotions, Ruben has been talking about emotions, and I've been talking about emotions. How do we exactly deal with them? And just now Jonathan mentioned about journaling, and I saw some of y'all have do journaling, and that's a very good coping step that you can take. However, for emotions, we have got, okay, so step number one is take a step back, pause and calm down, and, take your mind off that emotion. This can be applicable for any emotions, be it happy or be it sad. And it becomes so much easier to process that particular emotion that you're feeling if you just take a step back and calm down, and then you start labeling and expressing that emotion by journaling, or talking to yourself or loved ones. I'm sure some of you here associate talking to yourself as, it can be something someone crazy will do it, or but it's actually not. Talking to yourself is basically expressing yourself, and putting your thoughts out there. And that's what we all want to do. We don't want to bottle it up, right? And crying is not a bad thing. When people say, boys can't cry, that's not true. Everyone can cry, and that is a way how you express yourself that does not make you weak. And once you have expressed yourself, the why we feel that emotion comes into alignment, and asking yourself all the WH questions when you feel an emotion, like, I'm happy, but why do I feel happy? What was it that made me happy? And then you choose to respond rather than react. So when you react, you skip step 1, 2, 3, and you straight away go to number 4, and that's reacting already. So what we want to do here is respond to the emotion. So reacting, is basically um, doing things without thinking, which you'll probably regret later. And but responding makes you feel good about yourself. After, if you finish these 3 steps, when you respond to the emotion, you will look at it and you will be like, wow, this happened, and you know I can see that I've grown, and this particular situation has helped me grow, and it has helped me teach more about myself in life. So basically, these 4 steps are very important when you feel an emotion. And that brings us to the end of chapter 3. And lastly, we have got chapter 4, which is Ikigai. And I see a comment that everyone has got their own purpose, which is what we want to do here today. So what is Ikigai? Ikigai is a Japanese concept that combines the term iki, which means alive or life, and gai, which means benefit or worth, which basically gives you the meaning of giving your life worth, meaning, and purpose. So, okay, this is Amy, and Amy wants us to help her find out her Ikigai. So, let's see what she likes. So, okay, what does she love? She loves traveling and, personal development, and Netflix. She likes taking pictures, she likes world cultures. So, and what is she good at? She's a very optimistic person, and she's good at adapting to changes, and she's good at baking. She can find solutions in crisis, and the intersection of that 2 circles is traveling and baking. It doesn't have to be very accurate, but if you can connect, like, helping people in what you love, and finding solution in crisis in what you're good at, and put it together, you can help people find solutions, right? And what the world needs. She feels like the world needs peace, and the world needs a little bit of positivity, and just a pinch of magic, right? And there is just never enough cakes in the world. So she feels like this is what the world needs. And what can she be paid for? She can be paid for designing because she likes to design. She can be paid for baking, teaching or coaching. So when you see all of this in whole and you put it together, the intersection point is basically her ikigai, which is baking, traveling, designing, coaching, or slash teaching. So this is a guideline for you to build your life around ikigai. I'm not saying that this is 100% correct, but this is just a guideline we can all apply in our life, right? And I see a comment, all of us have tear glands, which means literally anyone can cry. Yes, it doesn't matter either way. You're a boy or a girl, anyone can cry. It is not wrong. And let's hope we have helped Amy today. So that brings us to the end of our session. Thank you so much. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Puan Sangeeta, Puan Renuka, and Puan Amara, as well as the Intra Club of MGS for having us here today. It always feels good to be back. So we have Sharu back with us.
Thank you, Soundry and Ruben, for further enlightening our night. I really enjoyed the video, although I've never watched the movie, but it's definitely going to be one of my to watch. So thank you for that. You said about a lot of things, a lot of different things that involves mental health. I really liked how you said there is many different ways of coping. So I myself, I do different things to cope. I read a lot. I'm very passionate towards aquatic animals. So I not too long ago, I got myself goldfishes and have been taking care of them like my babies. So that's my way of coping through this pandemic. And I'm sure all of us have got different ways of coping. So yeah. Anyway, you also said and mentioned and explained further about the concept of outer and inner beauty. Um, I agree that we should look at it as a whole. We should not look both of it differently. But it is a known fact that most young adults around the world go through mental abuse because of appearance discrimination. And let's be honest, in high school, we all often felt not good enough compared to social standards. I'm sure every one of us felt that at some point of our lives. And all of this is despite our capabilities and our talents and our unique features and all of that. We always felt like we were not enough, good enough just because of how we looked. So, in both of your opinions, how should one look beyond their outer beauty or appearance?
Okay, I think I will take that question. So, I mean, it is very difficult to change certain perspective for certain people. Like, I'm sure out of 10 of you here, or I'm not sure how many people are watching, but we can have a ratio of 1 to 10, and that 1% will be, we can be able to change their mind. But looking beyond a person's outer beauty, I think it starts by accepting that every body, every skin color, and every texture is beautiful. And like what you said, social standards are there, and it has been there for a very long time. And I feel like we should be the generation where we stop that social standard, right? So when society starts to accept that everybody in every skin color, every texture is beautiful, that's when we will all look at the person beyond their outer beauty. And I'm sure it will take years to reach that social standard, for that being a social standard. But we can start today, and eventually we will reach that.
Right. I agree as well. I think that it definitely, all of these, the entire spectrum of mental health and fighting it or handling it in a much better way, I think it definitely starts from home. It's about what you're going to tell your sister, you're going to tell your brother, or even for a matter of fact, if your parents, they are also people, they are also humans, they also have a hell of a lot of emotions. I'm sure that there will be some point where they themselves don't feel mentally stable. So I think that we should be the ones starting it from home before we go out and advocate our friends and relatives and whatever. So yes, thank you for that. Anyway, moving on. So as we're speaking about emotions, I feel like This one maybe it's my case, okay? I feel like sometimes we don't know what is the best way to express our emotion. That leads to a lot of holding back of feelings. I always ask myself questions like, am I allowed to feel this way, or is it fair for me to feel this way? And all of this always ends up, this is my scenario, all of this always ends up in me shutting down. If I shut down, I shut down for days or sometimes even weeks, and I don't know how to handle my emotions. I don't know how to speak about it, and then all of these eventually leads up to a lot of accumulated emotions that is very, very hard to speak about. And I know for a fact that it's not the best way to handle our mental stability or our mind or whatever. And all of this can lead to a lot of disruption during our daily activities. So, what advice would you give someone who is feeling that way?
Okay. I think you guys know the glass of water metaphor, right? Holding that feelings and emotion is like holding a glass of water. If you hold the same glass of water for a long time, it gets heavier and heavier. Same goes for emotion. If you pile up your emotions and if you didn't respond to it, it bursts out one day. So as stated before on the slides, take a step back, process the emotion, accept those emotions, and then label the emotions by responding to it. Maybe you can talk to your loved ones or your talk to yourself. Ask yourself, why are you feeling this? What can you do to overcome this and stuff? It can help you reflect on it.
Right. So I agree as well. Even if I don't entirely follow it, I did see that you presented the a few steps of handling your emotions. So my three steps is this. So the first one is you realize. Second one is you accept that you're feeling that way, and the third one is to act on it. But the problem is sometimes it is hard for us to act on it, and because life gets in the way, online classes, not being able to see all of our friends, all these other factors sometimes tend to push all our emotions under the rug. And like Ruben said, eventually it is going to burst. Eventually it's going to take a toll on your mental health. So my advice will also be to take a break. Like even if you need to get out from social media or anything, I wish, I hope all of y'all take a break and you know learn how to handle your own emotions and then get back and do whatever you need to do. Because yes, education is important. Yes, you need to do a lot of things. You need to work hard and everything so that you have a better future ahead of you. But remember that mental health is as important as our physical health. And just like how, even for a matter of fact, I would say that mental health is more crucial compared to physical health. Because physical health, you can see, you can say that someone is going through something, but whereas mental health, it is so invisible, them they themselves don't know that they're going through it. So just like how we are also what's we are also paranoid, I will say, about COVID, and we take all these precaution and necessary precautions to make sure we don't get COVID. I hope that we also at the same time take the necessary steps or habits to have a better mental stability. Anyway, so one last thing that I want to add on from my side. You all also spoke about Ikigai. And so happens that I have read the book on Ikigai not too long ago, maybe a few months ago. I finished reading the book, and when both of them sent me the outline, I kind of got excited because I read a lot about it. And as you can see on my book, there's a lot of tags and all. I feel like I learned a lot from it, and there are definitely a lot of things that I implement in my life right now because of the book. So of course, like Sandri said, it is the concept of Ikigai itself, where it directs you towards the discovery of your passions so that it can bring a better meaning to your life. But in this book, it also says another thing. It's called wabi sabi, wabi hyphen sabi. So this concept shows us that beauty in imperfection of the nature around us. It teaches us how to, instead searching for beauty in perfection, we should look at it in things that are flawed. This is written so deep in me that it has helped me get through so many difficult days. When I fail, when I feel like I'm not good enough, when I feel like I could be so much better. And like I said, comparing with your peers is so common. especially when you were in high school. All these days that I feel it's harder for me, I always reflect to this concept, wabi sabi, that says that go and look at perfection in imperfection, because that is what makes nature around us. And I thought of sharing that with everyone since it really impacted me. So that's it. That's about wabi sabi. Anyway, thank you, Soundry and Ruben, for your presentation. It was really, really enlightening. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Alicia.
All right. So before we go into the next slot, I was also told by the committee to remind everyone there is a quiz session at right now. So you can find the link somewhere in YouTube's chat section, and the quiz will be closed in the next 20 minutes or 15 minutes. So please make sure your name and email address is accurate for certificate purposes in case when they want to send you your certificate, and also for your names and other information. So make sure all of it is accurate. To be exact, the quiz will close at 9:40. All right. So moving on to our last session of the topic, breaking the silence by speaker PAG Mr. Subra. Sir, the floor is yours. Sir, sorry to disturb you. You are muted actually, sir.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, this is a mindset. Is a mindset whereby breaking a silence. It is a very huge, big subject. Now, I given a task that for me to do is that minding is your mindset. That means your program, your mindset. How it's a simple exercise. Later, I teach you. Okay, first thing you will find that two types of mindset human have. Okay, that is usually everybody have. That is, people have a fixed mindset because they believe their basic quality like intelligence or talents are fixed trails. Okay, and that these trails are responsible for success. They often like to be document past achievements. With a growth mindset, people believe that the new ability can be developed through practice. This view creates a love for learning the most great leaders and artists have in common. For them, life becomes an exciting journey with endless opportunity for figures, okay, out new things and new advance. Okay, I give an example as two students. Okay, let's say I put Jaya. Okay, a different in everyday life. Observe two imagination kids. Okay, I put one as Jaya. Thinks you have either got it or you haven't. The other one is another kid by the name Siti, knows that she can learn anything. She can learn anything if she wants to enough. At physical exercise, Jaya avoids challenges when it is time for jump over the vaulting horse. She is afraid to look stupid and being laughed off. The other side, Siti embraced any challenges. It's exciting and fun. She knows that failing is part of learning, and if she tries hard, at the end, nobody will laugh at her. Jaya avoid feedback. If the teacher tells her how to improve an assignment she has been working on, she takes it personally. The other end, Siti knows that to improve, she needs to listen to the constructive criticism. She also understands that if not her, that is been assessed, but the result of her work on the other one day. Jaya always takes the easy road. For example, she likes escalator and hate to take a stairs. When she is practicing the guitar, she stops the moment, okay, she is getting stuck. But Siti usually doesn't even take escalator. She jump up the stairs, counting every step in her head and enjoy feeling the blood rushing through her veins. She practiced the drums every morning for 15 minutes. Not that she always enjoy it, but she knows that effort is part of her journey to a more fun life. She likes to see the others' success. It inspires her. She knows that if she motivated her friends to get better, she herself is like to grow too. If her friend try new things and success, Jaya feels threatened. She afraid that the other success will put pressure on her to do more without her life too. Modern that is the two type of people. One is very fixed mind. The other one is growing mind. So I teach you how the things going to change your mind. Now the situation is pandemic. Okay, pandemic situations. Everybody is at home, and you find your lifestyle is changed. Okay, and many things which you can't take it, and so on. Okay. However, much of our past programming, okay, is wired into the physical system, and that is can keep us stuck in the specified perceptions and behavior. Our neural pathways are established connections. Within the brain, the fire connecting to these programs and the simulation of the receiver. Example, you got a two person. Most of them are thinking, I don't know, the brain is same as the other person. No. You can be a twins, but the wiring is a different wiring. It's not the same at all. Okay. However, if this connection tic-tac patterns in our life that we don't like, they can be changed to create a new patterns. That is, you reprogram your mind, new patterns. Some of these patterns serve us well, and there's no need to change them, but some of them block our progress towards the things we want. They tic-tac our relationship with everything we experience in our world. And if something that isn't idea is happening, it will be because of the pattern that perceptions we have developed from our past. For example, if a person is constantly thinking of how they don't have enough money, then the neural pathway that has been created regarding money will always leave this person with the perceptions and belief of lack of limitations. The other end, the other side of the coin, a person constantly focus on happiness through their thoughts and feelings states. They strengthen the neural pathway that related to happiness, and those will become dominant in mind. Every thought and feelings we have strengthened the neural pathways that we have developed, which in the turn dictates what we believe to be true as a result. We variate a specific vibrational frequency that in alignment with our belief, and attract the things that match those beliefs into our life. Example, every human being, okay, have an antenna on top of your head for over here, antenna or aerial, okay. Some of this is what is communicate with the 5 element the sky, the air, the earth, the fire, and so on. It's connected to the nature. Okay. They have been firmly developed the stick around unless we give them reason not, but we each have opportunity to create a new neural pathway in more rapid and effectively way through our intentions and actions. The following process will help you develop new neural pathways that align. With what won't step number 1? Example, you close your eyes, okay, close your eyes, take a deep breath, okay, deep breath. Then one hand, okay, you put here, okay, the other one is at the back. One here, one is back, okay, straight, just like that. Just feel the skin, okay, feel the skin. You have to feel it, and you close your eyes and give a deep breath for a few seconds, okay, few seconds. Then you open your eyes, you look on your right hand side for a while, then your left side. You keep on doing like 15 to 10 minutes, okay. This is a first exercise whereby you have to program your things. Just keep it. Don't take out. When you're doing, okay, when you're doing, you just do it as the. Now, near the forehead is the part of the brain known as the frontal lobe. This area manages your cognitive function and movement in the world of chakra. Actually, we got 7 chakra, okay. It's work on your chakra. It represents the spiritual center of the third eye, which regulates high awareness, imaginations, institutions in the back of your head. It's the area of the brain known as the occipital lobe, which is primarily responsible for visions. By placing your hands in this position, you are sending subtle energies into your brain, and the third chakra, these subtle energies are a vibration or the pattern of pulsation from your hands that add more energy this portion of your body. Okay, that means, you see, the finger is the end. The finger is end of the whole nerve system, lymphatic system, and your blood system. Okay, it's end. Okay, when you're putting this on your forehead, and the back head is connecting the whole thing. Okay, it's connecting. Okay, so brain is something don't feel by itself. Okay, brain is a master board whereby it will inform you everything, every part of your body, just information. Okay. Okay. Step 2 is focus on something that you would like to manifest. Call it into your mind, which as much detail as you are able to imagine yourself. Touching this object, example like object, you're buying a car, okay? Example, you're buying a car, a quality car, okay? So you're buying a car, imagine yourself the car, how the car look like. Let's say it's the black Jaguar. So it's black Jaguar, how the inside portion, features of the inside, how the tire look like, and everything. So this is the imagination. At this point of time, you close your eyes and you imagine yourself, okay? You imagine yourself, how the car look like, whatever, car or house, or your graduation, during your graduation, let's say you become a doctor, whatever graduation, that situation, that scenario, you have to imagine yourself. Okay, so the energy does these things. What type of energy does it in work, and you takes a moment to really connect it with the items, whatever items you want to. Example, okay, I just only telling example, whatever item. Okay. Step 3, begin the state name of this object out loud. Example, you just said the word a car or whatever, you have to say by loud. Okay. If it is a car that I said you choose the manifest, you might say the year is 2021, black convertible Jaguar with leather interior. Try to come out with a statement that lists approximately 5 physical features of that item. There is no need to list more features than this. To say I am simply say the name of the object out. Louder and several times with authorities take about 30 seconds to a minute to do this repeatedly. Repeatedly, you have to say that thing, whatever you are imagine yourself, you have to repeatedly say the things for 30 seconds, 1 minute. Okay. Step 4 is after you have started the name of this object out louder several times, you will properly notice that you are able to identify the emotions you feel while observing it. Give a name or several names to this emotion. For example, happy, excited, or peaceful. Anywhere between 1 to 4 emotions is sufficient. Stated this emotions out loud for about 30 seconds. Laugh means you laugh for 30 seconds. Okay, the emotion, you feel like happy, joyful, this kind of thing, 2 minutes. And really feel how they feel as you state them, because the emotion most likely make you feel good. Put in smile. Your face always must be smile as you do this. Step 5, take a few moments, say it out loud. This is my new truth and my new reality. In doing this, you establish a commitment within your mind to begin forming the new belief that you already have these things, that you are choosing no manifest, you are declaring it to be true, and the brain will go to work to begin the process of the step. The last is number 6 step. With your hand still on the forehead, as I said, this and that. Okay. Open your eyes and continue to think about your new manifest and how it makes you feel as you do this. Keep your head still and move your eyes to right side and to left side 15 to 20 times of doing. This is enough. This part of the process stimulates both the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. Stimulate. When both sides of the brain are working together in unison, the results are much more powerful. In essence, it locks in the information that you have just given it to do. Do this exercise 2 to 3 minutes per day for a minimum of 48 days. In doing, you are creating a new internal design and new neural pathways for new perceptions and behavior. Okay, with dedications, you will begin to think more thoughts that correspond with this manifestation, and those thoughts will support you in creating new beliefs that align your with what you are manifesting. When you are begin to live this new belief, you will have a new energy and vibrational frequency that begin to magnetize what you want to do. With this, I finish my thought. Thank you. You've got any question, you can ask me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for all that information. There was a lot of information that we had to take in, but it was indeed informative, and thank you again for all of that. So you mentioned about the medical perspective of mental health and all. So I would like to add on that this is actually a fact that I knew. So last time, long time ago, the people who had medical illnesses or medical disorders, mental medical disorders, they would go and send them in huge asylums in like the middle of the oceans, in islands and all those kind of things. And back then, when they didn't have the education or maybe the technology to like handle this type of people, they would think that these type of people are actually wronged, as in it's like something that is seriously wrong with them and it cannot be cured. So what they would do is that they would drill in the middle of their skull, which is supposed to make them feel better. So you can watch so many movies like this. I think one of it is Shutter Island, and there's so many Netflix movies out there where they explain about how back then people didn't have the technology to treat, or they had enough education to treat people with mental illnesses, that they will shave their head off and go and drill right in the middle of their skull, which was supposed to make them feel better. But eventually they realized that it was not proven to make any of them feel better. And then came the technology and the research and all these kind of things. And we are here today where mental health is taught in schools, mental health is taught in universities, all these kind of places where you start from home. And it's important. I think it's very important, especially in schools and all, because we live in a society, the Asian side of the world, where most of these things were not taken seriously for a very long time. I think when like me back in my childhood and high school, primary school and all those kind of things, I didn't know what was mental health. I didn't know how to regulate my mental health and all. And it's all learning from online, of course, social medias, and my own initiative of learning about all those kind of things. And events like this, of course, that helps me, improvise the way I regulate my mental health. So that was just something I wanted to say. So all in all, now that you have all realized that it's okay not to be okay, accepted the better version of yourself, and are ready to break the silence against the stigma of mental health, I hope you're also mending your mindsets to promote a healthier lifestyle.
Can I add something?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Can I add something?
Yes.
I have time to add in. Okay.
Yeah.
I give you a simple exercise. Just now I said about how to program your mind. That is your change. You're changing your program. Okay. That is how to do it. Okay. The second thing is that our brain need is glucose plus oxygen. Oxygen is very important for our brain, and glucose. Okay. The other thing is that a B complex is very, very important for the brain and its system, like spinal and so on. Okay. First thing, you have to sit and do a breathing exercise. Example, you breathe in. You cannot sit in the room. You have to sit somewhere it has plant, the nature. Okay. You breathe in. Okay. And you just keep it for counting 4, and you release, count 8. So that will keep more oxygen in your lungs. So whereby the 24 hours, it will supply your brain is more enough oxygen. If you don't have enough oxygen and glucose in your brain, it also not going to work. Example, as you said, the child who are having this kind of the mind, a mental problem, whatever it is. I don't like to say that. So these kind of children to be allowed to be in the nature, they should be assessed by the parents in the nature. It slowly will be developed their minds. Okay, it cannot be. We can't say they are disabled or whatever it is. I can't take it that word, but still they have the chance to grow. That is a simple exercise. You have to do a breathing exercise. even student like yourself, any human being, they have to do a breathing exercise. Breathe in, count 4, release 8 times. So you do for like 10 times, later 20 times, then increase the thing. That will help you a lot for your brain, and your brain will be very healthy, and you just change anything. Even you are feel very depressed and so on, you can change like that. Change like that because your mind can be do the things. But the exercise, I say the forehead and things, that also will help to program yourself, because you see, we are scared of the past, okay, and we are worried of the future. But the two also is wrong. Okay, that not going to be changed. You have to do the right things present now. So you keep your mind very present now. That will automatically take you the better future. Okay, thank you.
Right. Thank you, sir. I agree as well. There's a lot of activities that we can do to better regulate our mind. And one of it is, of course, like what sir said, the breathing methods and all those kind of things. And yoga, meditation, and exercising, just simple exercising every day in the morning. I think it's very important to put it out right now. Is also, I'm a student myself. I've got online classes going on. So I realized that most of my day I spend in front of my laptop, in front of my monitor, doing classes from 8 to 6 o'clock. And then by the time I get out, it's already, the sun is also already setting down. So I realized how much of sunlight I was not getting and how much it was making me feel so lethargic because I'm in like these 4 walls. So this is also something I would want to tell all of you, especially students, especially school students. It is good for us to take break in between our classes. Just go out, stand for a few minutes, and then come back in just to get the sunlight or the fresh air around plants and trees and everything. So yeah, that's one thing I would want to say. If that's all, sir, from you, that's all from me as well. Thank you all for your time, your energy, and staying up so late with us on a Saturday. Yeah, that's all for me today. Don't forget to check on one another. Back to you, Manisha.
Thank you so much, Sharu. As that slot comes to an end, so does our event. I would like to thank everyone, and I would also like to inform everyone that we are no longer taking responses for the Google form quiz. So that's all for now. Thank you and goodbye, everyone. Viva la Interact.